Welcome back, everyone, to another edition of Combat Corner, powered by Come On Now, the podcast. I am your host, Rudy Rodriguez Showmat. If you haven't done so yet, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, ring the bell, leave a comment. Appreciate y'all coming on board and checking out this new video. Tell you what, the Islam Makhachev commentary is at a high. As you all know already, he did vacate or was stripped of the lightweight championship belt by the UFC. He is moving up to 170 to face Jack Della Maddalena for the welterweight championship, leaving Ilia Topuria, who moved up from featherweight to lightweight, moved up from featherweight to lightweight to face Charles Oliveira for a vacant lightweight championship at International Fight Week. A lot of people think a lot of different things when it comes to the fact that Islam Makhachev has decided to not face Ilia Topuria. I have my own personal thoughts on that. I can't stand it. I don't believe the man's even cleaned out his own division to be jumping out of the division to go face another champion. He still has fights in his division that he has not had yet. And it's not like other fighters who have jumped up to fight, and taken an opportunity. He has not even beaten everybody in the top 5 in his weight class. So how can you just jump up to the next weight class? I'm not feeling it. I don't like it. And then when you've got like Ilia Topuria, who already won, goodness, the man has a win over Max Holloway, put him to sleep. He beat Alexander Volkanovski. Those are the two best guys in the division, and beat them like they've never been beaten before at their normal weight. It just absolutely incredibly impressive what he did there. Now, I would have liked to have seen him fight Volk again. I'm in full disclosure of that. There are other fights that I would have liked to have seen. I would have loved to have seen him fight Diego Lopez at some point. But I get why he decided he wanted to make the move. He's, whether it's because he was struggling to make 145 or whatever it may be. There are opinions out there that Islam Makhachev is ducking him. There are people that will say he's running scared of him. But he's also doing it because he has nothing to truly gain by fighting him. I think there's always something to gain by fighting somebody. If you think you're better than them, if you think it's an easy fight, then what would prevent you from taking the fight? And that's the question I posed to Islam Makhachev, because if it's such an easy fight, take the fight and win. But the reality is it's not an easy fight. Topuria is extremely explosive, extremely fast, doesn't get taken down very easily. So all the things and he's a devastating striker. So the things that Makhachev would have an advantage on against most guys with his wrestling, he may not have that ability to get him down. And if he can't get Topuria down, Topuria will knock his ass out. Just that simple. If he can't get Topuria down, Ilia Topuria would knock Islam Makhachev's head clean off. And that's why he's so damn scary to Islam Makhachev. That's why he'd rather go up to face Jack Della Maddalena, because he thinks that he can take Della Maddalena down, even though Bilal Muhammad could not get him down. That said, Chael Sonnen had an opinion on this, and we're going to play for you what Chael Sonnen's opinion on it was, because it's a typical Uncle Chael commentary, full of bravado, and it's just flat out awesome. So take a look at it. So here is the video from Chael Sonnen, and there's a few of them actually from Chael Sonnen, but this is one with Daniel Cormier. And I'm going to show you the rest of them too, but and as well as Islam Makhachev's response to Chael Sonnen.
Islam went up not out of courage. Islam did not go up out of adding hardware to put on his mantle. He went up with one condition, which is I don't have to fight Bilal Muhammad. Now, he can sit around and say, I could beat Bilal. I wouldn't go up and beat Bilal because I can beat Bilal. The bottom line is you entered a division openly that you said you wouldn't face one of the top guys. That's not a sign of courage. That's a sign of cowardice. I don't love the idea. You have an undefeated. Make sure you understand what happened. I know this is your friend, DC. I think of Islam as my friend too. But let's think of what happened. You have an undefeated, #1 ranked world champion who's chasing you down. He is willing to leave his division behind. He's willing to walk away from his belt to chase you down. You are so interested in getting away from this guy that you not only leave your belt, You leave your division, and the whole thing is only contingent that you don't have to fight Islam. Not for nothing. This is not the way champions conduct themselves.
I understand what you're saying, and I've seen this thought now. I've seen this idea now, Chael, and I love that. I love when we get into this, right? This is what this is what we're paid for. We just don't do it often. I disagree completely, because here's the deal. By saying that, it almost implies, and you said it, it's an act of cowardice. It almost implies that he's afraid. Not afraid at all. Not afraid. You didn't say those words.
Unwilling.
But not afraid at all. I'm telling you, he's not afraid.
Islam went up, not out of.
All right. I'll say this. I don't think he's afraid of Ilia Topuria. And I said in another video, I don't think he's afraid of him as a fighter. I think he's afraid of what it could do to him. I think he's afraid of the fact that he feels, because he's had a history now of fighting guys who are 45ers at 55, which he's fought Volk twice, and he's only fought at 55 in a championship fight against Dustin Poirier, a fight that was a tough fight. I mean, I thought that was an even fight going into the 5th round, and he pulled it out with a late submission. But Dustin Poirier and Renato Moicano, those are his 255 defenses. He never fought Oliveira again. I mean, the fact that he got the title shot from Oliveira was kind of a gift, because he hadn't earned it with wins over anyone in the top 5 up until that point. So he never fought Gaethje, and that's another one that I would have loved to have seen. Heck, I know this might sound silly to some people, but I would have loved to have seen him fight Chandler earlier on. Now, I mean, I think you destroyed Chandler, but I would have liked to have seen him fight Chandler a couple of years ago, because I think Chandler could be a headache, could have been a headache for him, just in the way he fights. If he could escape getting knocked out in the first round, I think he probably wins the fight, but Chandler also is a pretty darn good wrestler, and taking him down is not necessarily something that's easy to do. That said, he now has Topuria, and the Topuria fight is a fight that's scary, because he feels probably like there's nothing to gain by winning that fight, when in fact there's tons to gain. You're beating another champion. You're beating someone who's talking shit about you, who says he's gonna fuck you up. And now you're kind of lighting the fire and validating the thought process that maybe you are afraid of him. Like I said, I don't think he's afraid of him, but validating that thought process that maybe people think you are afraid of him, because you don't want to fight the guy that you say should be easy work. You got to go fight somebody. Well, you're not fighting anybody to get a title shot at welterweight. Are you going to go fight Sean Brady to get a title shot at welterweight? Are you going to fight Kamaru Usman to get a title shot at welterweight? Are you fighting Colby Covington to get a title shot at welterweight? No, you're getting a gifted title shot, and you've never won a fight against anybody in the top 10 at welterweight. It's ridiculous, in my opinion. It's ridiculous. Heck, I would say I think it's ridiculous with Topuria as well. I think he should have to have a fight before getting a title shot. But that's not how the UFC rolls, and this is what they do. Now, DC is always going to back up his guys. He's never going to say anything negative about his guys. We know this. He will shill for them all day. DC knows what it is. He knows that Ilia Topuria is a dangerous ass fight. He knows the explosion of Ilia Topuria. He knows the ability to not get taken down. So if Ilia Topuria stays standing, Islam Makhachev is going to be put to sleep. And this would be the one fight in which I think Islam Makhachev will be running in for a takedown as soon as the bell rings. As soon as the bell rings, he's looking to take him down. Whereas he may otherwise stand and throw punches with other guys, he would be looking for an immediate takedown of Ilia Topuria because of the explosion. It's the explosiveness of Topuria. Like Poirier might be a better boxer, but he don't have the explosion. That explosiveness that Topuria has is ridiculous. His ability to boom, 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 and go in and out, in and out, in and out. I mean, it's crazy. So let me show you another video that Chael Sonnen had here. So here's another one where he has it on his own podcast.
Islam Makhachev, is he a hypocrite? Did he run from Ilia? Does it appear that he did all one could do to get out of having to fight Ilia Topuria? Yeah, it looks that way a lot. Islam doesn't want to beat the scale. Islam is not interested in being a champion here and a champion here and a champion here or any of those things. That's in your mislead little mind. He doesn't want to weigh 155 pounds anymore. That's the truth. I just laid out a very compelling case for why he ran from Ilia Topuria. The problem is, it's not true. It's going to appear to be true in a number of months as time goes by. If you look back and stare at the story, it's going to appear to be exactly what happened. It's not. But equally as not true is that Islam is trying to go and get a belt in a different division and collect the hardware for the mantle. That's the misunderstanding. It's about weight. The worst part of this sport is cutting weight. Islam.
So he just created a narrative that he says then at the end is not true. It's not about weight. It's about he doesn't want to fight Topuria. That's just my opinion. And here's one more on this topic.
The idea that Islam was not running from Ilia Topuria is very hard to convince 12 people dumb enough to not find a way out of jury duty. I mean, here comes Ilia Topuria, the most decorated, the greatest record, to show his sincerity that this is about you and me. I'm going to give my shiny trinket back. The problem I've got is that there was somebody that was due to kindness that was off limits because you are my brother. That I do have a problem with. Since there's nothing that we can do about that, the one thing that I ask is that we don't double dip this thing on both ends, where we compliment and we praise while we don't also acknowledge the hardest fight, the one that came to your doorstep. And that fight didn't happen. I had this back and forth with Daniel. Daniel did agree with me. There's not another way to tell the story. It's the accurate words to use. The idea that
So Ilia Topuria, I'm sorry, Islam Makhachev has a response. He had a response to Chael Sonnen, and in his response, he says, chasing hype and money is not the same as chasing greatness in sport. But average athlete who built his way to the top with cheap trash talk won't understand that. So please sit and watch how others doing it, Uncle Chael. Hashtag double champ. Well, you can't be a double champ if you're not holding the other belt. You got stripped. So yeah, that would be inaccurate there. But what are y'all thoughts on this? What are y'all thoughts on this one? Because I tell you this, I'm irritated that he's not fighting Ilia Topuria. I'm irritated about it, and I know a bunch of people who are in the inner circles of this thing who really believe that Islam Makhachev doesn't want the smoke. A lot of guys turned down fighting Ilia Topuria. A lot of guys at 55 did not want to fight this dude. The only way they would fight this dude is if there was a title on the line, and because he's dangerous, bro. He's a dangerous dude. So this is just another example of people who are calling Islam Makhachev out to the fire for this bullshit. Because this is what it is. It's bullshit. He won't fight the guy who's chasing him down. He'd rather go. This is like John Jones with Tom Aspinall. Tom Aspinall's the hungry dog coming for you, and you don't want to fight him. Well, let's see if that fight ever happens in November in Madison Square Garden. Hopefully it does. And regardless of the outcome, I'm sure that'll be the end of John Jones. But that's the one thing about the UFC that is starting to disappoint in certain in capacities, because you always got the fights you wanted to see with the UFC. That was one thing Dana White would always guarantee. He guaranteed you're going to get the fights you want to see. And now you're not getting those fights. Now you're lucky if you get those fights, or you get those fights too late, type of thing. Like the John Jones Stipe Miocic fight should never have happened. If it was going to happen, it needed to happen like 3 years earlier, 4 years earlier. But when it happened, Miocic was already geriatric. Like, it was done. We never got to see a Daniel Cormier John Jones fight at heavyweight. That was a fight we needed to see. Watching Cormier suck his body out to face John Jones at 205, when we all know that at heavyweight he's a different type of dude. It's a fight that we never got to see. And the longer we've gone with the UFC, the more we don't get to see the fights that we truly want to see. Many of us, at least from my vantage point, Topuria Makhachev is the biggest fight to make. Period. It's the biggest fight to make. Makhachev Della Maddalena won't do 500,000 pay-per-view buys. Do they even have? I mean, or whatever the metric is now. I know they're going to be moving off of it, but it wouldn't do 500,000 pay-per-view buys during the pay-per-view, the real pay-per-view era. It wouldn't do it. And that's supposed to be two champions fighting each other. Yeah, I mean, I understand he's stripped, but that's crazy. Yeah. But anyhow, y'all let me know your thoughts in the comments. What do you think of what Chael Sonnen had to say about Islam Makhachev? What do you think about Makhachev's response to Chael Sonnen? And do you feel that he's running away from Ilia Topuria? I'd love to hear what you got to say. By the way, there's been a lot of back and forth with him and Topuria as well. So y'all leave y'all thoughts in the comments, like the video, subscribe to the channel, ring the bell. This is Comeback Corner, powered by Come On Now, the podcast. Come on now.
Up and down through the blood and the sweat. Guarantee you can know I'm a threat. Up and down through the blood and the sweat. And I ain't close to being done yet, I'm going.